All right.
Hey.
Oh my God.
Really starting off episode 3 with a bang, am I right? A bang! That's how we do it here at Podcast Hangs. How's it going, everybody? My name is Nick.
This is Jesse.
And this is Danny.
Welcome to episode 3 of Podcast Hangs.
So happy that this is going on right now.
Glad we're getting around to recording this.
Oh yeah, we've been off for a little bit, but life has just brought us some opportunities, and we've been able to seize them. As you guys know from the last episode, we are also members of a band known as the Vibesmen, and we had a show a while ago at Tin Roof in Baltimore. So we were gonna record the next day after that, but we were all exhausted because we didn't get home until 2 or 3 a.m. Some of us. Yeah. So we vowed to make it after that, so here we are after the fact, and we are here filming and recording to you guys live from Danny's condo, as always.
Danny's condo in Pasadena.
Pasadena, yes, we love it. We love it here, and hope you guys love episode 3 with the visuals and the audio going on. So where should we start, guys? There's been a lot of stuff going on in the recent.
I don't know. I mean, I think the most recent thing was yesterday. I mean, you just had your birthday, right?
Oh,
Big
yeah,
2-4?
I did. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Happy birthday,
I did. Thanks, man. I did turn 24 on September 20th. So 1995, I was born. It's 2019 as we're recording this. So, yeah, I'm 24.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, exactly. So, I turned 24, and it was cool. It was cool, man.
What would you consider like the 24 year? Because like some people have said like 22 is like the Taylor Swift year. Like I'm feeling 22. Like
Right.
And then 23 is like the Michael Jordan year. What is
the Michael Jordan year? I've never heard of
23.
that. What does that mean? Is that his like
It's
jersey
your Jordan,
number? Or,
your
like
Jordan year, yeah.
Oh,
Michael Jordan is 23.
I don't know anything about
He's not
basketball.
actually 23.
I've
His
known
jersey
nothing.
number is 23. He's
I
not
see.
actually
okay.
23.
Never known, never cared about that until now. But that's cool. Okay,
But
so
that's what 23 is like to some people. Like
So you could say-
it's their Jordan year.
so you could say I handed in my jersey basically of 23. That's what you're saying, right? He's
Like because Michael Jordan is considered the greatest basketball player of all time.
right.
So you're gonna have like your greatest year.
Oh, okay.
Because he's 23, you're gonna have your greatest year. You know what I mean?
I didn't feel that though. So
So that's that's why I'm asking. Like what would 20 like what is 24? Like what like
24 to me is it's not old.
like it
for
reminds
sure.
me of that show like 24. Like you're about to have like your key like you're 24.
I'm
Or
24.
something like that. Like
That
I
is
don't
for
know.
sure,
Like
Jesse.
I don't know what
I am 24 because I
don't
did
know what-
say that earlier.
I don't know.
So
I don't know what.
that's-
No, I'm
that's
saying like
happening.
what
Yeah,
would
right.
what would 24 be? Like what would you associate with 24?
Well, here's one thing that really irritates me most of the time.
Okay.
It's
Here
when
we go.
people consider their 20s to be like them getting like old and like getting to be like an old person. Because let me tell you, I'm 24 right now. I mean, a lot of people have different lives and have different things going on with them. Right now, I feel like I can still do a lot of things, and I'm optimistic about those different things because I'm going to school, I'm putting in work and all that kind of stuff. So I think that some people who complain about getting old just don't want to get old. I think that's a thing because I welcome getting old. You know what I mean? And I don't think that I'm too old, but I think that I'm getting older. That's how I see it. Like I think people consider 24 and 25 to be so old, like in air quotes and stuff like that.
I don't know.
Well, I've heard people
I don't
say it.
consider that anyway.
That's what I'm saying too. Like
I don't know,
I consider the fact that if you're gonna be like scared to get older, then you don't have your like aspirations. Like you have to be excited because you got your golden years basically.
Yeah, like,
I consider the
you've got-
20s to be
you've
your
got
golden years
time.
because that's like where you like meet the most people and make the most decisions and start really exploring the glory that is independence. It's really cool to be independent, and I'm not independent right now because I depend on my parents for everything. So shout out to them. But what I am saying is that I really am putting in the work to try to be independent. I want to do as many things and take as many opportunities as I can, and really explore as many aspects of my dreams that I have. I got a lot of interests, and things that are possible for me right now because I got the time and I
True.
got the I think it's all about having a good basically like positive outlook on life. You know what I mean? You got to welcome all those uncertainties as just opportunities to learn. That's how I see it. You
Okay.
really learn from, because people are going to make mistakes in your 20s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've
Yeah.
made a lot of mistakes
everybody
in my
can
20s.
say that
Yeah,
they have.
exactly.
I
And
agree.
you don't feel your best in your 20s, but that's what being in your 20s is all about.
That's
about
your growing period.
it's your growing period, so you're gonna have an awkward stage. Everybody has that awkward stage with their hair. It just looks really bad for like a few
Yeah,
weeks. You
that's
know what I
me right
mean?
now,
Yeah,
in my
exactly.
little
It just
bun.
like sticks out too much. I had to get my hair cut because it was my birthday. I got that birthday cut. It's a little nice, but yeah. But like I got a cut because I was noticing I was having an awkward stage in my hair. You know what I mean? Like that happens in hair and it happens in life. I think it's really relatable in that sense. And yeah, so to make a long question shorter for the sake of time, I feel good about being 24 and I am very happy to be 24. I feel like I'm still well and able to do a lot. And, I'm just very, very thankful to be alive still and still working, because when you're working, you're living. You know what I mean? That's how I
like
see
that.
it.
I like that.
Thank you. I hope everybody sees that as a good thing, because I feel like I said some words, but I mean them with love. That's how it is. I really do mean this with love, and I try to spread a good, positive outlook as much as possible. So
I like that.
I hope that came through as such. What do you guys think? Was that
I think so.
Yeah, that was good.
I was definitely like moved.
Okay, I'm
You,
glad.
you
yeah.
probably couldn't tell, but it just moved me inside.
I didn't even like rehearse that in the mirror or anything like that. Like that was just like me.
It's not something you thought of in the car and
Nah.
you practiced in the car on the way
No, I
here?
didn't come prepared with that, honestly. So that's why I'm really hoping that it came through as I intended. But let us know, everybody. But yeah, so
So what did you do for your 24th birthday? What did you do?
for my 24th birthday?
Other
Well,
than get that fresh cut.
yeah, I got my fresh cut at around 10:30 in the morning. My hairdresser told me about a time she got raped, so that was pretty
Whoa.
interesting. Yeah, I mean, she didn't go into great
Whoa.
detail, but she definitely mentioned the word rape, and she mentioned a few other things. But
I don't know. That sounds like a lot, just going in there and getting a haircut. That sounds like that's taking on a lot.
it was 10:30 in the morning, so understand I've been up for like maybe an hour,
Probably haven't
and
had your coffee yet.
I had my coffee, but you
Oh.
don't expect to hear about that in the morning time. So that was just
she's so open about it too.
yeah, and I mean I was listening to it. You know what I mean? It was like I was empathetic. I was like, yo, that's terrible, and I think it was a good talk for the most part, because she just like wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to listen. So. She was a nice
As
lady,
you should.
and she gave me a nice cut. So shout out to that lady. I don't remember her name, honestly, but she was nice, and she gave me a nice cut. And yeah, I hope she's doing well. So then after the haircut, I was just chilling for a little bit with my girlfriend and my cat, hanging out. And it was a really nice day too, but I didn't go outside at all until I took a trip to the Guinness Brewery in Hallenthorpe. Is that how you say it?
Halethorpe.
Halethorpe? Okay. I don't know why I thought there was an N in there. Maybe there is. I don't know. But basically, it's a little outside Baltimore, and it's a Guinness brewery. It's the only Guinness brewery or it's the only one in Baltimore for sure. But in America, I think so as well. So you go through this free tour. The tour is free. And you go through, where they keep the beer and how they use it and how they utilize the wheats and the hops and all that kind of stuff. Hops look like marijuana too, honestly. If you guys look up hops, the hops that go into beer, and you see
They look like
what it
little
is on
nugs.
Google, they look like little nugs. Yeah, it was crazy. And they said they weren't edible either. Like we tried some grains and some wheats that they use in the beers, and it was really tasty. But I guess the hops are not as tasty as as they may seem. So
Very deceiving.
yeah, but it was also very knowledgeable. I knew that, and it was really cool. My parents took me on that tour, actually. Shout out to mom and dad. They were really cool, and they treated me and my girlfriend to an awesome tour of Guinness that was guided by a really cool chick named Christy. I remember her name, and
Okay.
she's associated with Guinness. If you're listening, Christy from Guinness, shout out to you. You were a really cool tour guide, and yeah, it was a really awesome time. And then the tour was about like an hour, I'd say. We went through the
Okay.
distillery and or whatever the brewery, whatever it's called. I was trying to keep up, but it was a lot of knowledge. So I was trying to keep up. I did learn some things, and that was really cool. But the coolest part was at the end of the tour when we did a tasting. So they took us all the way upstairs where the restaurant is. They had a restaurant section, which was also really nice.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a nice steak there and some nice, apps and all that
dude.
kind of stuff. It was a really
Oh,
nice
man.
birthday dinner. It was really, really cool. But before that, we did the tasting, and the tasting was really cool because you had one beer that was like kind of already out in like liquor stores and all that kind of stuff. It was called Guinness Blonde, and that was a really nice, smooth, light beer. They didn't pay me any money to say this. It was my birthday, so they're not gonna give a shit. But anyway, so the Guinness Blonde was really nice. That's like, I guess, really popular. And then they gave us some experimental brews that they were trying out, and you could get them at the Guinness location that we were at, but they weren't mass produced, I guess. So one of them was the Over the Moon Milk Stout, I believe, and that was phenomenal. It was a dark beer with like a nice head to it, a lot of foam, but it went down as smooth and or smoother than the Guinness Blonde. Like the Guinness Blonde was a really nice light beer, and so was the Over the Moon Milk Stout. It was incredible. I was really surprised because I don't drink Guinness too often, but the few times I've had it, it's nice. But I've always known it to be like more of like a heavy, more like a, you gotta really drink it a certain way sometimes. They told us something about something you do with like taking the Guinness. There's a certain way you can drink it that gives you all the senses at once at the best way possible.
All the senses?
Yeah, so I don't remember what it's called.
Now that's interesting.
So what you do is you move the beer around a little bit just to like kind of open it up for everybody watching. It's kind of like
let's
yeah,
try with
yeah.
the
So you're
water
doing
bottle.
that.
So you're doing
Okay, yeah,
this.
yeah. So you're doing that. So okay, so you're doing that, and then if you wanna take a sip while we're doing this, so you can take advantage of that.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So you're gonna like swing the water around, and then you're gonna smell. Obviously, you're not gonna get much from the water right now, but anyway,
I'm just doing this for like reenactment purposes.
right. So then you're gonna
Okay.
take a sip, but then keep your mouth closed and exhale as you take the water down. But exhale through your nose. That's probably a thing I should have mentioned. So it's basically
now we got to do this again.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so we'll do it. Okay, take two. So
Okay.
This
hold
is
on.
the-
This is so we're doing this.
yeah, so
right?
this is the proper way to drink
Okay.
a Guinness or a
Doing
water.
this.
You're gonna swing the
Sm-
water around,
swinging around.
and then you're gonna smell, and then you're gonna sip, and then keep your mouth closed, but exhale through your nose. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the best way to take a Guinness. That's
Ooh.
what Christy told us on the tour, and it worked. I got more of like the dried fruit and the other stuff that was like in the brews, and it was
second
really.
try was the charm.
The second try was the charm. Yeah, I was. My apologies on that. I'm not a tour guide at Guinness, so what are you gonna expect? But anyway, yeah. So that was really cool. And then there was another there were two more beers that I cannot remember for the life of me because there was one that was like a stout, and Christy told me if I said it wrong that she would find me and. Bad things would happen to me. So, well, that's not a direct quote, but that's how I interpreted it. Christy
Okay.
didn't threaten me.
I can
I'll
imagine.
just say that.
I can imagine that they're pretty aggressive over there.
Yeah, well,
Maybe.
yes and no. Okay,
mean,
so
aggressive with,
they're
like, you know.
passionate. That's
Okay.
what it is. So,
Okay.
so Christy was
That's
very
fair.
passionate about the way that people say this certain stout. So I'm not gonna say it because I'm gonna butcher it, basically. But anyway, so yeah, that was really cool. All the beers were really awesome, really lighter than I expected. So yeah, the whole Guinness tour really made me opened my eyes to Guinness and how cool of like a company and like a beer basically that they are.
True. Okay.
So yeah, that was really tight. And then we were at dinner, and I got some gifts from my folks.
Oh, you got some gifts.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I was gonna say
So-
it's not an actual birthday if you don't get any gifts. Right?
I know, yeah. So I got this Rise Up kind of canteen.
For listeners out there,
Clean
Rise
canteen,
Up is a
insulated. Yeah, it's really cool. It's from a company that I used to work for, but I got let go of from. So you could say that my parents got me merch from a job I was fired from. but I still love it though. That's the thing. I still love it. It's Rise Up Coffee. I used to work for them, but I wasn't that great. So, but I still love the company. They're really good local coffee from Maryland. And yeah, they're really tight. So I still love this present, Mom and Dad. Thank you so much. They got me this canteen. They got me a hat too. So it was
Gotta
two
have a hat.
really awesome presents. Honestly, it was just from a weird place in my life. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is my mom and dad love me, and I love you guys too. So that's basically what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
That was very heartfelt too.
I hope it comes through as such. You know what I mean? That's what I want to do, is just spread love to everybody. And that's what we want to do in general on Podcast Hangs. This is the place where you spread all the love as much as you can, and it never spreads too thin. You know what I mean?
I feel that. I mean, where was I going with this? But on another note, people who
That's a nice transition right there, man. That was.
I was trying like
10
I had
out of 10 on that one.
I had a thought and it just kind of it just went away.
Improv.
Terrible. Take a lap.
Yeah,
I'm
there we
gonna
go.
need to take a lap after that one. But
Gotta do it.
I don't know. On the topic of love, and not to kind of like take away from the positivity that we just established at the beginning of the show, but
Because that was how it was
some
intended.
people that don't really should get love. Is that grammatically correct? Should get love.
Those who should get love.
Who should not get love, I should say.
So
Okay, so the people who should not get love are people who mess up your name, like spelling your name, saying your name. You know what I'm talking about.
that's true. No, yeah, I don't have love for people who mispronounce my last name. That's something I really do not like. I actually had a weird incident with that over the past week. So something really specific happened to me in my newest semester in college. As you guys may have known from the last episode, me and Jesse are entering a new semester at our colleges. We go to separate colleges, and Danny has a lot of free time on his hands. But anyway, so I was taking an online test for a class that I'm taking at college.
Okay.
Who would have thought? And I was looking at the test question, and when you have a test question that has those characters associated with them,
Yeah.
like Bobby wants to buy some blow for Janine, and
Yeah, that's definitely what I
if
got
he doesn't
asked.
get it to her in time, what are the consequences and all that kind of stuff? There's
Yeah.
like a beating. B, there's a stabbing. C, all that kind of stuff. So
I never got asked those questions.
Well,
but I don't know. That must be different for
That's
each
just
school.
how I would love to take a test. If I had if they had real life questions, like real hypotheticals, that's what it would be. That's what would be awesome about school, is to just improve the way that we, shape and formulate these questions. Because, Bobby wants to buy apples for Susie, and how many apples will he have if she takes 2 and then, bakes it into a pie of 3 pies, and then it's just, what are we talking about here?
They just add a lot onto the question that's just not necessary.
And also, nobody is going to go through all that work, honestly. Nobody is going to
no.
make... In 2019, nobody is going to buy apples from somebody and then provide it for them and then make it into a pie and do all that calculation. No one's going to do that. I don't think so, at least. But that's just me.
So are you saying people are too lazy to go out and make pies?
Some people. Not all people, but some people.
Okay.
Anyway,
All right, back to this test.
back to the test question that I was encountered with the other day. So this test question had a character, and it was a character that shared my name. And you know that 3-second high you get from noticing your name is on a test question?
Yeah,
So,
I've definitely felt that before.
but let me break
Yeah.
this down. So, the first second, you see the question. You see how long it is and how long you may have to think about it.
Right.
Then the second is when you notice your name. It's going through your memory and it's going through your little brain, and you're like, or big normal brain. Everybody has a brain. It's going through your brain, and then the third second is that little chuckle, that little sign of relief that you get when you notice your name. It's just like like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the third second, and then the reason I mentioned that it's a high is because the aftermath is just horrendous, because you still have the stress of answering that question, and it's nothing great. It's like you shouldn't have even pulled up to that sidewalk and taken that thing from that person, because it's just gonna be a terrible experience afterwards when you're off that high. So I got off that high, off the test question, but I noticed that my name on there, it wasn't my first name, it was 2/3 of my last name. 2/3 of my last name was used for the first name of this person in this test. What sense does that make, I ask you?
It makes no sense.
I was, see, I'm not mad about it, obviously, but it's just the weirdest. It's the little specific things in life that drive you crazy, isn't it? Like those little specifics that like you can't change and you just have to deal with in life. Like when there's like some sort of appointment moved, or there's some kind of family member that dies. It's just stuff that happens in your life that you can't control, and it's just those little specifics that it's like, But
yeah, I mean, I've definitely had that before. Like people have gotten my name wrong. Like it's like you would think that like Jesse is like Jesse.
yeah,
You would think that's like fairly easy to kind of pick out, because there are two different ways to say Jesse. If you're a girl, it's spelled with an I,
yeah.
and then with me, it's just no I.
And then there's some people that do
SSE.
like a Y. You know what I mean? Like that'd be
People,
fucking
some
weird.
people have the Y, and then some people spell it Jessee.
Oh yeah, that's
And
like an
then-
extra E in there. I don't.
Well, then people will put the SSEE. So it's C.
So which of those have you gotten the most times?
Probably just with the I.
Okay.
Like
How about top three? How about
JESSIE?
top three? Can you remember like
Let's
top
see.
three that have been like
For me,
constant
it's
for you?
been JESSIE the most.
Okay.
That's the most.
That makes sense.
And then number 2 would probably be SEE.
SEE. Okay.
JESEE.
So how is that pronounced? Is that pronounced any differently, or
Probably not to some people. To
I
some people, it
see.
probably just sounds like Jesse.
yeah?
And then number 3 would probably be JESSY.
Wow. That doesn't even sound grammatically correct.
I don't
honestly.
know,
I
dude.
don't.
It's like
The S's and the Y's just don't make sense to
I don't
me
know.
in the
Like
same
I
place.
I don't like. I've
Sounds
just
like it's
gotten
supposed-
used to it. So.
Sounds like it's supposed to be Jassy or something.
Yeah, like-
Yeah, like that's not like
Jassy.
that is definitely not Jesse the way it's pronounced.
I've spelled it before like JESSAY, like Jesse.
Jesse. Oh, okay. I like that. That's pretty
I like
tight.
that. So if anybody out there listening or watching wants to like start saying like Jesse.
Yeah, let's catch this on.
That would be I'll accept that.
Let's
I
catch
will
this
accept
Jesse wave. That's how we're doing it here at Podcast Hangs. The Jesse
Jesse.
wave. So maybe that'll be a sound bite. Anyway, yeah, that's incredible. I can't believe there are that many ways to say Jesse.
Like,
Danny, have you gotten any misspelling of your name?
My last name.
So So what
Okay,
have
so
been the
how
top three for
Yeah,
you?
how do other people like spell or say your last name?
Everybody always thinks it's CRUZ.
Now,
That-
see, that
that-
sounds cool on
that is
paper.
cool.
Like visually, that looks really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like it implies that I'm Hispanic or something, and I'm not.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
that's
sense.
true.
It doesn't make any sense.
Not at all.
And I don't. Well, don't really have people spell my first name wrong, but a lot of people call me Dave.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
a
that's
lot of people call me Dave.
that's an
for
entirely
Dave
different
Cruz.
word right there. Shit.
I don't
like-
know,
Dave
yeah,
Cage Cruz.
I
like
no,
that.
I don't know. Like some people that like they met me before and they hear my name.
Oh, hey,
once
Dave.
And all this, yeah, they'll call me Dave.
I don't know. You don't look like a Dave to me.
Not at all,
Not
man.
at all.
Not
I
the
know.
the Daves that we
I don't-
know.
yeah.
I mean,
All the Daves we know, like
they all look different.
they're all different,
Yeah.
and you don't look like one of them
I know.
or any other Dave.
I look more like Drew.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I look
see,
like
I can
Drew.
see that Dave thing popping up in like a Facebook mistake, like someone's trying to look you up on Facebook, and it's like
Right.
Dave Cruz or something like that, and it's just like some like old dude with like a truck in his profile picture or something like that, and it's like really like blocky.
Yeah, really, like kind of blurred. Looks like it was taken on like one of those.
It's
old,
not a
like,
good
like
picture.
like Kodak, like snap cameras.
Right? Yeah, not
Like
a good
where you
picture.
get like 20 pictures. Like you get 20 pictures, then you have to buy a new camera or something.
Exactly. Yeah. No, Danny Cruz sounds better than Dave Cruz. I'll say that. Sorry, Dave Cruz, but you know if you're out
Yeah,
there,
if Dave Cruz is
suck.
listening.
yeah.
I'm better than you.
And you can take that to the bank anyway. But yeah, so back to the test question. It's those specifics in life that are crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like this professor had to do a few things to put this together. He was either seeing my name somewhere, like maybe on his computer, like maybe like he was grading assignments and he's like, oh, I gotta do this test at the same time. And like he's like shaking his hands and he just like doesn't know where to look. And it's like 2 a.m. and like he just like put that 2/3 of my last name in the question just because it, you know, was groundbreaking to some extent. Maybe. Or he was, this is the worst outcome I can think. He was thinking of me. He was thinking
Oh.
of me while he was writing this test. That's disgusting. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. So that's just what my brain went to after that. I'm just like, how
I don't
in
know.
the-
I'm thinking like, why would your brain go to that?
But it's because it's those specifics in life, you know. It's just those specifics that drive you crazy. It's like I can't do anything about this. I just have to take it and
So you
analyze
immediately
it
went
as
to
is.
specifically my professor was thinking about me when he was making.
Look,
this
I'm
test
not
question.
saying that he was okay.
I don't know.
by
He could
any
have.
means.
He could have thought of somebody who sat next to you too. He could have thought of everybody.
But it's just the specifics of the fact that it was 2/3 of my last name. It wasn't. There's like 2 letters that are missing from this word that he put together. It's the weirdest formation of letters that you could ever, like, at least for me.
Okay, so hold on. So before we go any further, tell the listeners just how what it sounded like and what your actual last name is.
Funny you should ask because I actually brought the test question with me.
Really?
And we're going to read it right here on Podcast Hangs.
Okay.
I knew this would be a good bit. Okay, so let's see where this is. This is question 9 on this
so
on this test.
How many questions altogether?
20.
Oh, so
Yeah.
I would have said like at the end of the test, like that's kind of understandable.
Nah, I had to work
that's
with
like
my brain
smack
after
in
that.
the middle.
I had to work with my brain after that, and that wasn't good. I had to do it 2 more times, I think. But anyway, so and it's
Danny is getting water, ladies and
all
gentlemen.
right. Danny's gonna be right back. Danny, can you at least hear what I'm gonna be talking about? Okay. All right. So you want me to keep going? All right. Cool. So it starts out with the 2/3 of my last name. Okay.
Okay.
So my last name is anyway. Well, see, I just don't think that like I don't want to catch shit from anybody if I like say my last name and like nobody gives me permission. You know what I mean?
But it's your last name.
That's
So you
true.
would have to give yourself permission, right?
My last name's DePietro.
There we
Anyway.
go.
Permission from your dad's nuts.
Ah, come on now.
I didn't say that to the mic.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you didn't say that to the mic. All right.
Nuts.
Ignore that, everybody. Anyway. So,
Jeez. All right.
so for everybody who heard my last name, that's my last name. I'm not going to repeat it. So, Petro. That's the name. Petro. Petro. Pietro. What the hell are you thinking for?
First of all, why would anyone be named just Petro?
That's the first name he's going with. That's how he starts this question, yo.
That's
I don't
very
know.
strange.
Maybe he's talking about the last name. Maybe he's talking about a first name, but it's oddly specific.
So very.
You can't make this up. That's what
so
I'm saying.
weird.
You can't make this up. So I had to work with my brain after this. So anyway, the question goes.
Yeah, read us the rest of this question.
Stop me when you want to talk about it. Okay. Petro, the county sheriff, told his deputies to, quote, think big and endeavor to be more detailed and caring while at work and in setting goals. Therefore, when you give me your goals, I want them to be specific, measurable, attainable, results-oriented, and have target dates, end quote. Petro was asking for his deputies blank.
Okay, first of all, I don't think I could
He
ever...
made me a goddamn county sheriff. What the hell?
That's the first thing I wanted to address. I don't think you're cut out to be a county sheriff.
I don't know what this guy's on. This guy is on some stuff that's giving him some crazy thoughts and crazy dreams, I think. I'm not going to say anything more than that, but that's just, I don't know. It's creative, though. It's creative.
That sounded like really like in an ideal situation. That sounded pretty believable.
The county sheriff, like, I'm not mad at that. That's pretty funny. Like, that's the light of this whole thing is like,
wait, did he-
Petro, the county sheriff. Like, that's on somebody's badge in this guy's world. In this guy's head, this guy can make up a guy who's just gonna have Petro on his name tag like that. It's my last name. So what? You see how I can't talk? That's how I get like passionate about this stuff, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what a worst name tag is?
What?
So I had a friend, right? My dad used to be the head coach of the Naval Academy's jiu-jitsu team. We had this guy who trained with us. His name is Shane Harper Long.
Okay.
So the way your name tag is on your, like, whatever, like the midshipmen's have the name tags. It's
Right.
the first.
The first letter of your first name.
It's the first letter and then the middle letter and then your last name. So
Right.
his name tag says Schlong.
Oh!
That's like saying Schlong, the county sheriff, has asked his deputies for
Schlong
for their goals.
Schlong the Navy SEAL
Needs to go buy apples.
For him and all his seamen.
Oh boy.
Seaman.
Yeah.
we were watching South Park.
Oh my god.
Oh dude.
Dude, oh my god. Wait. So okay, one more time for the people. That's the S, that's the first name. That's the first letter of the first name, and then the H, which is the first letter of the middle name, and then Long is the last name. Dude.
Schlong.
Y'all take that in, ladies and gentlemen, because it's sometimes the specifics that you gotta laugh at too. You know what I mean? Like, that's specific, and that is funny.
I don't know. This does sound like it could be like a South Park thing, though.
It really
This could be
could.
like a South Park episode. Like,
I know.
now that we could transition into talking about that,
Very true.
perfect situation.
We got a situation here, ladies and gentlemen. We got a situation of a new segment that we're trying to think of on podcast hangs.
Well, let's not get to that first. We were hanging out at after the last show, right? and we were watching some South Park season 10, right?
That's true.
Yeah. And Jesse was saying that it's his favorite. It's his favorite season.
It is my favorite season.
It's
of
a
South
damn
Park.
good
Talk
season for
let's talk a
sure.
little bit about that,
Okay.
because what we're going to be doing is going to be coming from all that. So
Okay.
let's talk about the whole.
I don't know.
season
Like
first.
season 10 was like one of the first seasons I think I got exposed to from South Park. Like I think I started with like 5 or 6, and then I watched the movie, and then I started getting into it around like when 9 and 10 started airing. So that was when I kind of started becoming a bigger fan of it. And I just like all the episodes in season 10 are just so funny. Like I just love all of them.
Top 5. Can you do top 5?
From the season,
Yeah.
the first one is definitely the World of Warcraft episode. That's my favorite one. And then number 2 would probably be the episode
Yeah,
with
that's
Caesar the dog guy,
yeah.
the dog whisperer.
That's a good one too.
be dominant and aggressive.
And then 3 would probably be Mystery of the Urinal Deuce.
Exactly.
The 9/11 and poop in the urinal episode. And then 4
That's what we were watching before this episode,
that
right?
was, that was what we were watching before. And then 4 would probably be Man Bear Pig is in this season too, isn't it? Or is that
Yeah.
the Man Bear Pig would probably
The
be
Man
4.
Bear Pig episode is in season 10.
And then 5 would probably be the one where Cartman is the hall monitor.
His dog, the bounty hunter.
Dog the bounty hunter. That's number 5.
The
That's
big big dog.
that's
crazy.
That's
Get your
top
pass,
5
bruh.
for me. I love that season. Like I'm glad that I kind of watched it then, because I think that was when it kind of got a boost in like content.
It was everywhere
yeah.
for sure.
I think.
And they had the Kanye West, Kanye West gay fish episode like prior to this season, right? Or was that after
I think
season
it was
10?
after.
That was around the time I got into the show, actually.
Oh, I see.
I was going to AACS, and a friend of mine pulled me over the lunch table. I'd never watched South Park before, and he was like, "Hey, I got a joke for you." I was like, "All right." He's like, "Do you like fish sticks?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you like putting fish sticks in your mouth?" I was like, "Sure." He's like, "What, are you a gay fish?" I was like, "Dude, what?"
Classic.
I was like, "What?" He's like, "Dude, watch South Park." And then I became a fan like ever since.
Hell
And what
yeah.
season was that? Do you remember?
That
It might have been like right after season 10.
I think it was season 13 or 14. And I know it was 2009.
I'm gonna do a fact
it
check
was-
on this real quick.
Because I know it's my freshman year in high school. And I know it's either 13 or 14. I think it was 13.
Okay.
That episode was great. All the ones that came, again, like, around, like, season 13, 14, 15, 16. Like,
So what would you say is your
all the
favorite season?
classics. Oh, my God. That's really, really, really hard. I'd have to say, out of, I think it's been
You
yeah,
got- you
like
got a
10
few to
years
choose
now. It's
from.
been out of 10 years of watching South Park,
Hell yeah.
I've I think season 22 is my favorite. The previous one,
the newest season.
and I think it was just because, the Halloween episode about
So
about
what
the
would your top
e-scooters.
5 be in the season?
That one was my favorite, and it was because it was just situationally funny. I've seen them a little more around Baltimore and Annapolis, but I had never really seen these e-scooters around Baltimore and Annapolis before. Definitely not in 2018.
Right.
They definitely weren't on the East Coast then, but I was out in rehab for eating disorder. I was out in Arizona for a couple months, and I was out in LA for a couple months. And LA was awesome because I got to go around everywhere. I got to tour Warner Brothers Studios.
Ooh, that sounds
And
tight.
Warner Brothers.
I had such a blast in LA. It was
Hell
the
yeah.
time of my life, man.
Did you see the Animaniacs anywhere? Dot
No.
and like the other two guys.
No.
Ah, okay,
I mean, LA is
well.
really big, man.
That's true. Yeah, that could be anywhere, honestly.
But one of the things that I had noticed when I got there, and I got there like early October, so I had a few weeks of this whole joke really kind of settling in before it kind of hit me. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
seeing all these e-scooters everywhere, you know what I mean? Like, it's a whole new thing to me. I'm like learning about them, like, oh, what are these things? These are really cool. Oh, yeah, you just get to, you know what I mean? Like, my roommates telling me about them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're explaining it to me, and I'm just like, oh, okay, this is really cool. I'd never seen them before, but LA is kind of like Ocean City, but
Right.
it's all right. So if you took like New York City and Florida and Ocean City and made a bunch of movies there, kind of meshed it all together, that's kind of what LA feels like.
Okay.
Best
but
of both
it's-
worlds, I guess, of like
Yeah.
multiple worlds.
Well, I was living in Santa Monica, which is like about 15 minutes like outside of like LA, like downtown LA.
Yeah.
So it was like a suburb, but
LA,
it was
LA.
yeah.
Ooh.
So it was like I was living in the suburbs, but it's like there was still like a lot of like downtown areas kind of like in between like the roads, and then there would just be suburb like all these like houses and stuff, and then the next street it would be shops and
Okay.
you know, whatever. Like I could walk to the guitar shop, I could walk to the dispensary, I could
Nice.
go
Nice.
wherever I could walk wherever I wanted. The beach was like a 15-minute Uber ride away.
That's not much money right there you got to spend. That's awesome.
Well, anyway, excuse me. It was October, and I'm getting used to, you know, to walking around everywhere and all these e-scooters because I'm used to driving everywhere. Because in Maryland, you have to drive everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
you
30. It's at least a 30-minute drive to get anywhere. That's
Ain't that the truth?
That is so so
That's
true,
a
dude.
damn truth
So
if I
true.
ever heard one. Oh my
You
god.
have to get a car when you're 16 in order to get anywhere. Otherwise, you're going to be bumming rides for years. Like you have to get a car, and there's no really like these e-scooter things are just now kind of starting to gain momentum over here. But they were so brand new. For like LA was brand new to me. That was brand new to me. And South Park Studios is right in LA, right? So the Halloween episode about the e-scooters came out, and dude, I just thought it was the funniest thing.
Because you had like grasped the idea of the scooters
like,
already,
again,
so
like the joke had been settling in for like 3 weeks, and that's kind of like how these guys make their episodes.
Right.
And I was never, you know what I mean? Like
they just
I
take in
always-
what life's going on around them, and like that life of the scooters was going on around them. It's crazy.
I definitely thought like the relevance of what they write about is just really funny. But
Absolutely.
that like I'm such a huge fan of like diehard fan of South Park for a long time, and I had attempted suicide that year. I had, you know, a mental breakdown, but going through a lot of things. And then, you know, all of a sudden I have my phone back. I have some freedom. I'm in LA, and I'm getting used to it. And, you know, just getting used to LA. You know, feeling pretty happy. And then the new season of South Park comes out.
Yeah,
and then
dude.
that Halloween episode just made me so happy.
That's awesome,
I was
man.
laughing
Hell
so
yeah,
hard.
dude.
It made me so happy. You know what I mean? And
Hell
it was
yeah.
like that. I don't feel like the joke could not have been any funnier if all that crazy stuff hadn't happened to me that whole year.
Dude,
you know
it's,
what I mean?
it's those
So
specifics in
that's-
life again, man. That is like,
Yeah.
that's the crazy thing about life. Like, you never know when certain media is gonna celebrate certain aspects of your life, and like what they celebrated in that episode was the scooters and stuff that you like already had the feel for, like in LA, like you said. So like, it's just crazy how close they hit, you know? Even South Park, for as like crazy and out there
Yeah, dude,
and like
yeah.
obscene as it is, it's a damn specific show that
Yeah,
actually
dude.
has some really good
It's really clever.
messages towards
It's
the
very
end.
very clever.
It's
Yes,
really
Very
I
clever.
agree.
clever,
I
and
agree with
that's,
that.
That's what really got me, is because I think it's safe to say that that's probably my favorite South Park episode of all time, just because situationally, like, that was a new thing over there, and that was a whole new world to me. So just situationally, I think
It hit you at the
that,
right
like,
time in your life, for sure.
yeah,
Like,
just, like the timing of the joke was, I think, spot on from those guys. Just what, like, I guess it was a new thing. Like, I'd never been out in LA before, so all that, like, I guess it was just kind of coming around, like, just starting to get big out there.
Yeah.
So
That's just, yeah, man. It's just, it's
the
awesome that
timing of the joke was just impeccable.
Timing
and it
is
was
everything.
The funniest thing in my whole entire life.
You can't-
It's
yeah.
one of the funniest things in my whole entire life. So I'll never forget that.
that's like one of those situations where it's like, you know, you can't make this stuff up, but in a way, South Park did make this stuff up to an extent because like they just like made up a situation from the e-scooters that was just like, man, it's again, it's those specifics in life that's just crazy, man. It's crazy, beautiful, sometimes obscene, but overall, it's just
You gotta appreciate
remarkable.
'em.
It's something
You
that
have-
you
you
remember
have
for
to
the rest of your
appreciate it.
life. Like Danny, that sounds like something you're gonna remember for the rest of your life. So that's it's awesome when those when those moments happen for sure.
There's I'm sure a lot of those we could talk about.
Absolutely.
There were a lot of other really good episodes I thought that came off of season 22 that were just classic. The one about Integrity Weed, I thought that was hilarious.
Oh yeah, which one was that about? I can't remember that one.
The weed farm.
Oh, the weed
They
farm.
start a
okay.
weed
It's
farm.
like, oh, all right, I'm gonna test out the product here.
Oh, he gets, this is some good shit.
Oh yeah, this is some good shit. Oh yeah. What? Oh yeah. Oh, that's some good shit. Keep saying that over and over again. It's so funny.
Classic.
And they keep doing the commercials. Integrity Weed commercials.
Oh, okay.
How about you? We got integrity. And they're making fun of like the kids who vape.
Oh my god,
Okay.
dude! The best part was when like they saw Ike vaping,
That
the
was
kindergartners vaping. We're kindergartners. We need a break. Like
It's an epidemic.
it's crazy that like people like, well, not kindergartners, but people actually think that like because like they need a break for something that's like not even that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, sometimes
I don't
people
get
like
that.
that's just how you live your life though. You know, some people just have, again, it's like that optimism in life. You got to keep that optimism and that passion going, and you got to remember why you deal with the shitty job you have, or you know, don't get respect from the people you want respect from. It's like you got to earn it, you got to work, you got to grind, and you know, some people can take that, you know, more in stride than others, I guess. But
yeah, I agree.
with that whole vaping thing, man, it's crazy that we're living in this time period. You know what I mean? That's something that like I've just like, you see these articles now in Rolling Stone about black market vape cartridges of like, you know, nicotine, THC, whatever. It's like it's crazy the things that people will do for money,
Right,
and like
for real.
they'll risk
What they'll sell to people too.
exactly, man.
So-
It's like
so wild.
it's like, how do we? There's just got to be more knowledge about this stuff. You know what I mean? And like, there just has to be more outlets and stuff like that, because without the knowledge, you know, we don't know, and that's the thing. Like, you just everybody's got to be aware of what is going to be constituted as quality and what's going to be constituted as something that's just gonna fucking rip a hole in your lungs or some
True.
stuff like that. Like,
Or it cause you to get like double pneumonia or something. Like,
Yeah,
I think
double
that's something
pneumonia from,
someone
like-
got.
yeah,
That's wild.
That's just not right, man. Like, it's just, how do you try to get away with that? Like, how, and also like, you know, how are the people? It's you can't blame the people. You can't blame the people. You got to blame, you know, the lack of knowledge out there. People got to understand all the benefits and all the ways that you can fuck up cannabis and nicotine and all that kind of stuff. You got to, like, you know, tell all the sides of the story. And it's wild that some people are going to tell one side and leave out certain details and, you know,
That's very
favor. It's all about, you know, favors and people doing favors and taking favor of certain people that do the favors for them and for money and for other stuff. So, man, it's just, this is a crazy time to be alive, man. But it's
yeah, it is.
it's
Yeah.
the powers that be could just, be a little bit more conscientious of all aspects of everything that they talk about. You know what I mean? Some people are just gonna not change their mind. Like that one guy, Jeff Sessions. Like this guy was out there at one point talking about the fact that cannabis is as equal to hurt you as heroin, which I'm gonna say right now is some bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with
But
that.
that's
because, like
it goes to the knowledge, I think, again, because like you gotta have this guy, has a long history of, I don't know the specifics right now. I had a conversation with somebody about this a while ago, and they had way more knowledge about it than me. But basically, the fact that you're gonna have that lack of knowledge about what cannabis can do is just blows my mind. Like that's definitely understanding that there's conversations happening out there that include the words cannabis and good and heroin bad, and those distinctions are very important, but he's just on his, stubborn mindset going like, hey, no, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying all this,
that's true.
all these new studies and all these deaths and all that kind of stuff. Cannabis and heroin, it's the same thing. Nah, it ain't. Nah, it ain't, Jeff Sessions. I know I'm very late to the party on this, but when that came out, it really affected me a lot, and it's just not. It's not right because, people that use.
It's not right. It's not right.
I'm very into civil rights, and it's just, I know people out there have their opinions and all that kind of stuff, but you got to see the benefits and the consequences of certain things and how those outweigh each other. And in my opinion, and a lot of people's scientific truths base their results on the fact that cannabis has way more benefits than heroin does. Heroin's got nothing but consequences, man. I just gotta say that right now.
Sure, dude.
Heroin's got nothing but consequences, man. So that's all I have to say about the argument. Is just that heroin's got nothing but consequences, and cannabis has nothing but it's got benefits. It's got benefits. So that's what I'll say. You know what I mean? It's just beneficial. It's not.
There's a program that people who used to be hooked on heroin can go to. They can get like some kind of like cannabis shot or something that like is strong enough to hold them over.
Where is this at?
I don't know. My guitar teacher was telling me because he used to be an addict himself, and he was saying while I was gone, was going through some things, but they have that program now where like instead of like getting a shot of methadone or something dumb like that, like it's just intense like cannabis or whatever, just concentrated cannabis, and that's strong enough, he said, to take away the urge to use opiates and heroin.
See, that's something that nobody's talking about.
Right.
I never hear any stories about that, yo. And let's also remember the stories about cancer patients turning to cannabis, and people with epilepsy, and all these chronic illnesses can take comfort from cannabis in some sort of way, and heroin's got nothing to do with that side of life. You know what I mean? Like it's people just got to tell all these stories, man, and it's thankful that, or at least I'm thankful that us three are knowledgeable to, have those other outlets, but some people aren't. So, I can only hope that our podcast kind of shows some different outlets for people, and, all opinions are welcome. You know what I mean? We're not saying anything set in stone except for the fact that heroin is nothing but consequences. That's what I don't change my mind on that, but everything else, you know what I mean? It's up for debate. I know that there's some.
Just keep yourself open to others and their opinions, because like that's like you can't hold that against them if you won't listen.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta. It's great to listen, but you don't have to agree. You know what I mean? But just because you don't agree doesn't mean you don't have to listen, because listening is cool. It really is. Like
Yeah,
to
because
hear
you actually learn from like the other side of things.
you
know?
learn something that you didn't know. And maybe you don't agree with it, and maybe you think it's horseshit, but you don't have to say that. You could
Right.
just, have a conversation about, oh, why do you think this? Or like, well, okay. Maybe sometimes but yeah, I think that overall, yeah, communication is key, man. And communication involves active listening. And the way you active listen is just by taking stuff in. And, you can block it out if you want, but I just wouldn't stir the shit pot. You know what I mean? I don't want to be stirring shit. And stirring shit does nothing but make the room smell bad. So
I'm loving the way that we took this podcast from talking about South Park to just shitting all over Jeff Sessions and heroin. I'm loving the progress
Classic
here.
South Park style.
Yeah.
loving the progress here,
Speaking of which,
ladies
This
and
is the
gents.
variety you get on podcast hangs. This is just what we're gonna do, man. We go off the walls, bouncing off
Very
ideas,
off the
and
cuff here.
exactly.
At Danny's condo.
I don't think.
Like Danny's condom. Oh,
I said condo. I didn't
I
say
said condom. Off the cuff, like Danny's condom.
Well, there's both here. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was too
Great.
much.
That was too much.
I knew my
Mom,
drink
get
tasted
off the
salty.
phone. Mom, exit now. Bad talk. No.
Hey, why is my drink salty?
Well, I don't think we got.
Knock him back.
I don't think we got your favorite South Park episodes, Nick.
Okay, so I'm not as dedicated a South Park enthusiast as Jesse and Danny. I'm gonna be really
I'm not
clear.
an enthusiast either.
Well, but you guys,
Danny is the enthusiast here.
you guys
I'm a
can-
fan.
you guys-
I'm a fan.
How about this? I'll tell you guys some of my favorite episodes, and you tell me what seasons they're from. If you guys can do that, let's see how we can do this. Okay, so a few of my favorite episodes. Let's see. There's the one. Well, the one season that has the Saddam Hussein and the devil relationship, that was always really funny to me. So, which
That
season was that
probably-
from?
Like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I knew it was
4
in
or
the
5.
earlier stages, but I didn't know if it
Earlier
was like
seasons.
okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
that like that whole that saga, I guess, or that storyline
Oh,
was one that
yeah.
was really funny to me.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that.
The one where Jimmy takes steroids for the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
That
that's
is
a good
one.
one.
I have that one. That
That's a
one's funny.
classic in my
Yeah.
opinion. It's just it's a crazy story, but it's just one that made me laugh.
Cartman fakes being special. and
Yeah, he fakes
the,
being handicapped and all that kind of
fakes
stuff.
being handicapped to
And
get into the Olympics.
it's really it's not an episode that people nowadays want to watch. I'll be honest, but it's just one that I used to watch with friends in high school.
It's still a good
because
belly laugh.
it's a good belly laugh.
I was listening to the audio commentary, and they were right. I completely forgot about this movie. There was a movie that who was it from? Jackass.
Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, it was Johnny
Oh,
Knoxville.
dude,
yeah.
The Ringer.
They were talking
Dude, that movie is
they were-
hilarious.
What's the
talking
title of that again?
I forget.
He fakes being. He
Yeah, but
it's
what's
like
the title of it? I
The
forget.
Ringer.
The Ringer?
Yeah.
The Ringer.
Oh, okay, The Ringer. Yeah.
They were talking about it in audio commentary. They're like, "Oh, dude, this whole dude did the whole fucking movie based on this one episode.
Yeah.
Like, this idea for the whole
So
well, I don't-
good.
I don't
Did
know
that
if
movie come out before that episode or
I
like?
don't remember, but they were just talking about it like, oh, well, I think maybe it ended up coming out. I don't know.
I can't
If we-
remember.
After the episode, we can watch it again with the audio commentary because they talk about it.
But
And
what
I've-
season is that episode from?
I want to say like maybe 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
8 or
gotta,
9-ish.
it's gotta be on 6 through 10.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
So that
I
could be
think
8 or
so.
9 for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So that makes sense. All right. So that's another
That's 2.
one.
Give us one more. Give us another one.
Oh, the one with Kenny and the Purity Rings and the Jonas Brothers. That one's a pretty funny one.
I forgot about
And-
that one.
Yeah,
That
and
was
like
really
Mickey
funny.
Mouse like slaps the shit out of the Jonas Brothers. That's just one that I can laugh at now because they're on tour now and like they're trying to like not wear the Purity Rings like they always wanted to, but I still think they get the spankings from Mickey every once
They're
in a
also not
while.
associated with Disney either, are they?
Well, they were.
They were,
They
but they're
were.
not now.
No, I don't think so. Ever since that shit show, the Jonas Brothers show or whatever the hell that was crazy and bad.
Did they have a show?
They had a show. Yeah, let me
Wow,
find it.
I don't-
Yeah, they had a show on Disney
was it
Channel
Camp
for a little
Rock?
bit. Yeah, they had Camp Rock, but that was a movie. But anyway, yeah. So let me see about their show. It was somewhere filmography, maybe. Nope, not
Good
not
old
filmography.
Wikipedia.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing on Wikipedia, honestly.
Wikipedia
but,
is not a trusted source, ladies and gentlemen.
But let me see if I can.
Just a reminder.
Okay, so there's Return Happiness Begins. That's right now. Hiatus with the Married to Kevin. No, okay.
If anyone can help
Married
us
to Kevin
out.
Jonas was before this, so let me.
Oh
make sure.
yeah.
Married-
I
that,
know
like,
what you're talking about
ETV
now.
show or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking like they had a Disney Channel show. Like,
They
I don't
did
know.
have a Disney Channel show, but I'm just
did.
trying to figure. I'm just
Real
trying to find
dude.
it.
That's what I was
Disney
thinking.
Channel
Like I
show,
knew
let
that
me
they had
see.
like the.
Yeah, let me just
show.
go
I
to
didn't-
Google because
I didn't know
Google.
that they
Shout
had
out to
their own-
Google. Google is a reliable source. Anyway, Jonas Brothers TV show. All right, why
It's
don't I
gonna
do
be
this?
that.
Hey Siri.
Oh, we got Siri up in here.
What was the Jonas Brothers show called on Disney Channel?
So specific.
She was listening and didn't hear anything I said. That's rude. That is rude right there, Siri.
Oh, boy.
I guess that puts to rest that theory.
Yeah, you're,
Yeah.
yeah. That chick is crazy. Disney Channel show. Come on, let me see this channel show. Okay, Disney Channel show. Let me see.
It's gonna be Camp Rock, dude.
It's
Yo,
not.
no,
there's
no.
something else
I
besides
swear to
Camp
you,
Rock.
Camp Rock will come
But
out.
it's. I don't think it's called the Jonas Brothers show because
that
that's
was
just
a
a stupid
movie.
title.
That was the movie that they did, but it wasn't their show. It wasn't the show.
Yeah. Oh my God. I keep. No, Disney Channel songs. What the fuck?
Unless Google's just like trying to delete it from everybody's memory. It's that bad.
Oh wait a minute. Okay, so it was Jonas, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The show was Jonas, and it was like basically them getting into wacky adventures as young boys in a band, dealing with girls, and I don't know.
Do you
I
remember
don't know
all
that.
of those shows? That,
I don't
like,
remember
came
that.
out?
I don't remember that show at all.
They-
I don't remember that
They would
either.
get mobbed all the time outside their house.
I guess so. Yeah. What?
It was so corny.
I didn't. I maybe watched one episode and I was like, I'm turning this off, man. I was probably 10 years old, but I knew I don't want this. I don't want this shit on my TV. No, sir. But yeah, anyway, the South Park episode with the Jonas Brothers was a funny one to me too. So that's my top three, I guess.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah,
I can
I can only
respect
give
those.
top three again because I'm not the biggest South Park fan, and I don't remember all the South Parks, and all that kind of stuff. But that's okay because
We got Danny here to explain this.
Danny's got
segment
all
for
the
us.
knowledge of South Park for sure.
Well, I think it's about that time we tried something new. What do you think, guys?
Yep, speaking it like I did to my girlfriend last night. No, I'm kidding.
She's gonna listen to this.
Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. That was just that I had to. I
It was
had
your
to.
birthday.
Yeah. So, I did say it on my birthday. No. Oh, I love you, baby. I love you. I'm like Cat in the Hat right now, talking to a rake. I'm sorry, baby. I love you. Dirty hoe.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yes, we are in the mood to try something new, Danny. Explain to us what we're gonna be doing here.
Woo! All right, so this is episode number 3 of Podcast Hangs.
Mm-hmm.
This is a pretty new thing that we've been getting into, and I came up with a really, really cool idea that I wanted to start doing for the show.
Okay.
Credit to Danny.
For anyone who, I don't know, I guess, I don't really talk about this a lot because this is a long time ago, but for anyone who knows me really, really well or doesn't know me really well, I used to be real into acting around like middle schoolish or so. I mean, I did.
Little actor boy.
Yeah, I did acting auditions in Annapolis Mall for this talent agency, and I did like classes. I went to a whole like acting competition in Orlando, Florida, with a bunch of scouts from all kind of different networks and stuff like that.
Did you wear Hollister or Aeropostale on these?
It didn't have. It didn't have.
I'm sorry.
No,
I don't mean to offend you on that. I'm not being offensive with
No,
that. I'm just saying.
you're
Because
pretty
there were
close.
stores in the mall. There were stores in the Annapolis Mall.
Those are big stores in the mall. That's what I'm saying.
Stores.
They all did. So all right, the where it is now, it's like a bridge with like a fountain, or that whole big, huge, open like courtyard thing.
Yeah.
You remember like way back in the day, like back in the 90s when it used to be like a pit, and it used to have
Yeah.
like stairs and all
Rows.
that crap,
Mhm.
and
I remember that.
it's like back when they had the video game arcade and the.
That was my
and
favorite part about the mall.
And
That was my favorite part, and then they tore it down.
I know.
Yeah, they completely gutted that mall.
Yeah, the mall was really cool back in the 90s. But anyway, that whole it was I think it was around 2006 I did this audition. That whole area was like it was in transition. They were about to start like doing something new with that whole like courtyard area. But they hadn't done anything with it yet. But they set up all the auditions right there. So they had like a whole stage. I mean, there was a good 1,000 or so people crammed in there. Like,
Wow.
it was big.
Jeez.
And I'll tell you, because you guys have been playing on stage with me for 4 years now.
That's true.
That is true.
And I've been playing.
And watching you for longer than that.
I've been playing guitar for 12 years, and I've been performing on stage for like 13, 14, I don't know, like
Hallelujah.
the exact number, but oh jeez. No,
Oh, jeez.
I started singing in the church choir when I was like 5, and I did like
In the church choir. What the? You were in the church
Wait
choir
a
too?
minute.
Well,
Wait a minute.
naturally,
I didn't even do the church
parents-
choir, and I'm a singer right now. Shit. That's crazy, man. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I did that, and I did like some skits and stuff, but like I really wanted to get into acting like middle school. So it was like 2006.
Okay.
They still hadn't tore apart that whole like step area. They had like a whole stage. They had like judges and everything.
Just out in the
Only
open for
time-
everybody to see.
Yeah,
Like in the food court, you could
I'll-
be like eating and like you see the auditions going on.
Well, no, it's it's across from the food court. You know what I mean? There's
Oh,
like
I
the
see.
aisle of stores as you go down from the food court, and it's that next huge open court area that's after the food court.
Okay, yeah, I see what
Okay.
you're talking about now.
Yeah,
Cool, cool.
yeah. So it's right in there, and I mean, there was more people in there than in the food court because that was going on. Because that was a rare thing. I had and again, I had never seen them all like this either.
That food court is always busy, though. It's
Yeah.
always
Very much
busy.
so.
I've never seen any like acting auditions or anything in this mall before, and I was cruising down the road. I forget doing whatever and listening to the radio, and we heard about it. My mom and I heard about it, and we were like, "Oh, that's today. Let's go." So we kind of just showed up.
Just
And
a
again,
spontaneous moment of
Yeah.
just taking the opportunity.
It was like there was like 1,000 some people all crammed into that like courtyard. It was packed. I got in line and I got a number, and I'm telling you, out of however many years I've been performing on stage, even I performed on stage before that, like in front of hundreds of people on church. I was like a little nervous, but the only real time I ever got stage fright was doing this.
I'm sure, yeah, because there's
Yeah, I
like
would be
judges
nervous,
involved
too.
and like all the kind of stuff that are gonna
Yeah.
tell you whether you suck or not, and they could be pretty brutal with that stuff. Like, look at American Idol,
Yeah,
honestly.
it was huge, and I got up there, and I can do the voice of Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. Like that it cracks everybody up. That was I think it's weird, but like I don't know.
That was your audition piece,
I
like.
don't really care. Yeah, that's kind of well, like I had a couple other voices, but I think I launched into that first. I
Okay.
either did that first or did that last.
Because that's the one that came so natural to you, I guess, or
well,
like.
yeah. Well, I think it's the one I did last because I started crawling around and shit. I mean, like.
Oh, you got like into it.
Nobody else was doing that. Everybody else was kind of like
Just standing still.
Well, what the lady told me is that she was like, everybody else was kind of boring. She was like, but I really liked you. But everybody was cracking up. Like everybody whipped out their phones. And
That's
shit.
awesome.
Like,
You distinguished yourself from the competition, yo. That was cool.
yeah, I mean, I don't recall much of else what everybody was doing, but I remember like some people were singing some songs and some people were kind of like just saying some stuff, and it wasn't. I think there was like a guy who got like a couple chuckles or something, but what the lady said, I stole the whole thing.
Well, yeah, because
That's
nobody
what
else
she
was
told me.
crawling, I bet. Like, crawling is like, that's when you
Yeah.
know you want it. And that's.
Yeah, I was like doing the voice, like crawling around and process. You know what I mean?
Right.
Shit, just fucking doing that. But everybody was losing it. But that's what got me in.
Hell
Okay.
But
yeah.
anyway, so to make a long story short, that was
That was one of the first
That
like
was a pretty long
acting
story.
experiences you had that was like
With
top
impressions.
notch for like somebody of like big importance, I guess.
Yeah, that was like I guess the first really professional anything I did ever.
With acting, for sure.
And no, anything ever. Like
Oh, okay.
That was the first professional anything I did ever. Like
That's cool,
I
man.
was 12, 13 years old, dude. That was the first professional
Yeah.
thing I ever did.
What other voices did you do? Can you remember those?
I don't know. I probably did Shaggy and Scooby because
Nice.
those are
Nice.
those are my classics. I've always been able to do them. I mean, my repertoire is so much bigger now that I'm 25 and not 13 anymore.
There's a lot
But-
more out there for you to interpret and all that kind of stuff,
Very
man.
true.
But what I was getting at through this whole long story.
Right on.
This whole long story.
That's a good
short.
story though, man. That's cool as hell.
Yeah,
Yeah, I learned a lot about you today with that.
Yeah, I know, and I never really talk about much about this is because I always talk about the guitar thing, and I picked that up right after I kind of got out of the acting thing.
But you gotta talk about it on podcast hangs because
This is what we do, son.
this is where we're trying out all the stuff
Well, because here's what
and
I
talk
was,
about all the stuff.
Well, here's what I was getting at is love acting and doing voices and stuff. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I wanted to do the guitar thing because that's what I kind of started. I felt that in middle school. I kind of felt like the acting thing was starting to be like not me like forcing myself to like try to do something, and then the guitar was like, I don't know, just kind of felt like what I wanted my image to be. Like I didn't want my image to be a theater kid in middle school.
Okay.
You know, and if
That makes sense.
if
That makes sense.
I was really self-conscious, and that's.
You knew who you wanted to be, and it wasn't an actor, so that makes sense.
I mean,
Or like a theater guy, I guess.
yeah, like I don't know, like I was really self-conscious about going into high school and what crowds and cliques and stuff, and because I was homeschooled and I overthought a lot of these social things, and
People can be rough though. I mean, that makes sense, man. People
Yeah.
can be really rude nowadays,
Well, I mean, during middle school,
and especially back then.
I just didn't really know myself. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that
you
makes
just
sense.
don't really know yourself that well, and you're going through these awkward things. And then it was around like 8th grade-ish or so is when I decided to pick up guitar. But because that's been my last 11 12 years,
Right.
that's just always what I talk about, and I never talk about the acting thing anymore.
Yeah.
Even though I always bring it out through something or another. I have this whole huge portfolio of experience.
You'll do like
And-
the voices in like interviews, and like just when we're like chilling, like you'll bring out
Yeah.
like something, and I'm like, bro, what? Like, it's crazy, man. Like you do have a variety
Yeah, for
of
real.
those voices you got, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's crazy how distinct they are and how right on they are most of the time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when we had the idea of doing this show, I was kind of thinking of like what things would be cool to do, and one of my all-time heroes is Mark Hamill. I mean, not only is he Luke Skywalker and what everybody knows him. I mean, everybody knows him as, you know, something else, and they don't even know it's him.
Right.
But everybody knows him for one thing.
He does a lot of voice work, basically, right?
Oh, he's such a good voice actor. He's, you know, but guys like him are, you know, what I aspire to be like. I want to be able to do a lot of things.
That makes sense.
And I came up with this cool segment to showcase my voice acting.
Hell
where
yeah.
I would pick out a clip from a TV show or a movie or some YouTube clip that I find. I'm gonna do my homework and go, okay, you know, what voice do I feel like doing today? And my whole thing is we could make it a game if we wanted to, where we could have, if you wanted to try to do the scene after I do it, you could try it, or you could try it, or if we have a guest, they could also attempt to do it.
That sounds cool. I'll be down for that.
So the game.
How about you, Jesse? You down for that?
I don't know, dude. I'm more interested in listening than I am trying it.
Exactly.
I do want to listen.
I
do want to listen.
I'd rather listen.
You can either listen or, like, if you're kind of thinking, like, maybe I can do that. So what?
I don't know if I'd be able to do that, but I'd rather just sit and listen.
So what I want to call this is, Did I Nail It?
Oh,
so
that's a good title for it, actually, because you do want to nail the voice.
Right. So basically, I'm
nail it.
I'm gonna show you how well I can, and if anybody else thinks that they can, you know, that they have.
Then you just make it a competition out of that.
Well, I have the script written out, so that way, if someone else wants to give it a try, they don't have to memorize the scene. They just have to read the script.
Okay.
If they want to try the voice, they can. I thought it would be a fun little cool thing to do.
Very interactive, and I'm always up for a little playing around with the voices and all that kind of stuff. I was a theater kid as well in high school. I did stuff in high school and stuff like that. So
now the one time I did start to embrace it again when I went to South River, because Mr. Garman's improv class is just the best. It's just the
awesome,
best.
Dude. Awesome class.
Mr. Garman and Mr. Blair, Mr. Kavanaugh, that to me, those teachers was what made South River for me.
Absolutely, man. We both went to South River, so I can definitely agree with that. Those dudes were awesome.
The guitar class was so much fun. Mr. Blair was so enthusiastic about about me. Mr. Kavanaugh got me on the It's Academic thing. I got to play
academic.
Yeah, I got to play guitar on TV when I was in high school.
Oh, okay.
Did I tell you about that?
Nah, you didn't.
You didn't know about that? Oh man, we were gonna launch into this whole game, and now I have a story.
Oh shit. well, we can get to the game. We can get to the game.
We can come back to that later. Yeah, we'll play the game, and then we'll get back to that story later.
For sure.
Or maybe on another episode.
We'll see.
We won't know.
Yeah.
We won't know.
It's unpredictable here at Podcast Hangs, everybody. And as with comes unpredictability, comes opportunities to strive and create and shine. And this is what we're going to do on Danny's new segment. I'm excited for this.
So, we're going to do the first Did I Nail It on Podcast Hangs.
Hell yeah.
This clip comes from South Park Season 10, episode Mystery of the Urinal Deuce.
Ooh.
One of my favorite all-time voices, because we were talking about Season 10. We were watching Season 10. And I was thinking my all-time favorite voice to do from South Park is Mr. Mackey. Hands down.
Mr. Mackey's a very distinct voice.
One of the goats.
My favorite voice is Mr. Mackey from South Park. And he does this super hilarious monologue in this episode. It's got to be the best Mr. Mackey monologue that they've written for this character. So we're going to play the clip here. And y'all get a chance to hear how Matt Stone does the voice in the episode of South Park. And then you're going to hear my version. And then, if you feel like, in the comment section, give me a rate between 1 and 10. 1 being, you absolutely suck.
Naturally.
10 being,
you nailed it.
Yeah, that was, perfect. You couldn't have done it any better.
You
So-
nailed it.
We're going to go ahead and roll the clip here. This is from Mystery of the Urinal Deuce.
Attention, students. Apparently, Clyde could not have been the one who crapped in the urinal because Clyde had a colostomy at age 5. Okay? Now, whoever did this unspeakable act is still at large. The boys' bathroom is closed until further notice. Because one of you thought it would be a good idea to pull down your pants, okay? Hover your butt cheeks over the urinal and squeeze out a chocolate hot dog. Okay? Oh, you think that's funny, huh? Let me assure you, there is nothing funny about going up to a nice, clean, unsuspecting urinal. Okay, dropping your pants and then turning around, squatting over that urinal. Okay, maybe pulling your butt cheeks apart with your hands. Okay, and then laying out a big fudge dragon for all the world to see. Oh yeah, that's real funny. I'm gonna catch this son of a bitch if it's the last thing I do. Okay?
So that's the clip.
That was the clip.
That really moved me, honestly.
That was
Fuck
was
what I
like
said
one of the-
earlier today. That was really insightful.
So if you can remember where the laughing is in the clip, feel free to laugh and play along.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm gonna need an extra sit-in voice, but for now I can do the voice. I just need a little bit of laughing.
Okay.
All right. Just in case I screw this up. Take one.
You get one take, son. You get one take. here at
One take
Podcast
on
House.
Did I Nail It?
We're doing
Gotta
this
nail it
once.
in one take. How about that?
Man, that's not fair. I could
Well,
do-
we're okay.
I could do this like 5 times, but we're only gonna do one.
Yeah.
All right,
we're only gonna put
only gonna
one
do
on
one.
the podcast.
We're only gonna do one.
All right, let's do this.
I need to clear my throat. Just give me a second.
Danny's got a whole
Danny's got to
ritual.
get ready for this. So
Yeah.
we are back. Danny's about ready to attempt this.
All right, here we go.
Let's get into this.
Attention, students. Apparently, Clyde could not have been the one who crapped in the urinal because Clyde had a colostomy at age 5. Okay? Now, whoever did this unspeakable act is still at large. Boys' bathroom is closed until further notice. Because one of you thought it'd be a good idea to pull down your pants, okay? Have your butt cheeks over the urinal and squeeze out a chocolate hot dog, okay? Oh, you think that's funny, huh? Let me assure you, there is nothing funny about going up to a nice, clean, unsuspecting urinal, okay? Dropping your pants, and turning around, and squatting over the urinal, okay? Maybe pulling your butt cheeks apart with your hands, okay? Then laying out a big fudge dragon for all the world to see. Oh yeah, that's real funny. I'm gonna catch this son of a bitch if it's the last thing I do! Good?
All right, guys.
Bravo.
Wow.
Bravo.
So did I nail it?
That was really, really fucking good, dude.
That was actually like way better than I thought it was gonna be.
When you you really made a difference with your hand over your mouth, yo. That was crazy. That was a really good method right
I will
there.
say the only thing that I think could have been different is you were a little too bassy.
Oh, a little too bassy.
I think Mr. Mackey has a little bit more of like a little bit more of a ting,
A little bit more.
a little bit
Yeah.
more of a T.
There's
But-
gonna be a little.
But I thought
little
I give
frequency
that an
subtlety.
8 or a 9.
yeah.
Yeah,
out of 10.
honestly,
I would
8 or
give that an
9
8
for
or a
sure.
9.
9.
Yeah, well, okay. I'm gonna say 8 only because I think that Mackey's voice is a little higher than your voice.
little
Like
bit,
in
okay.
general, like he has a higher voice than you do. But
Yeah.
like what you worked with in your range was impressive as hell, and you did still get the fact that it was Mr. Mackey through that whole thing.
I don't know if they do this for Mr. Mackey's voice, but I do know they do this for other voices like Kyle and Eric, and they pitch them up So it could be a frequency thing because
True.
everybody's voice isn't gonna match frequencies quite the same. So I don't know if they pitch up the voice slightly or not.
Okay.
There could be just a this distinction between my voice and his, but I think that's a pretty good.
No, that was a
pretty
really
good
good
score, man.
rendition,
It was
dude.
pretty good.
Overall,
Yeah.
that
It
was
was
a
pretty
damn
good.
good rendition. And yeah, it was just like just little things, but overall that was damn good, man. That was a good first segment of Did I Nail It? That was really good.
I like to think, I like to think that was a good, solid, strong one. There's definitely other ones that have more high-pitched voices that I tend to go for. So I want to see if I can get that perfect 10. But for now, I want to see what you guys think. If you can rate me 1 to 10 on how you thought my Mr. Mackey was. If I thought I nailed it, please let me know.
Just let us know where you're watching this video at. Let us know if Danny either sucks or if he nailed
Rocks.
it.
Sucks or rocks?
That's true too. He could rocks or if he nailed it.
Yeah.
Since this is
That-
called Did I Nail It?
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I was
Rocks
trying
rocks
to be
is so typical.
sucks and rocks. It's like it's the sound thing. Like they both have like like rocks, sucks. It's like a one syllable kind of thing, I think. But anyway, yeah, let us know, guys, because I think he pretty much nailed it. I think he pretty much nailed it right there.
Did you want me to tell the guitar story real quick?
Yeah,
Or we're
let's
gonna
tell the guitar story and then let's end it because I think
Sure.
we're ending strong on this.
Okay. We were talking about our teachers in South River. All of them were great. But Mr. Kavanaugh in particular, made this huge hookup for me, to the team, that he got me to play with. It's basically, they do like this trivia game. So if you tune in to like Channel 13, my mom used to work for Channel 13.
Is it like a local channel, I guess? Or
Yeah, it's
okay.
the local Baltimore.
WJZ.
Oh, true.
The NBC,
Represent.
the NBC channel, the local Baltimore news that comes on NBC Channel 13.
Okay.
My mom used to work for them back in the day. Anyway, they do a show called It's Academic, where the high school teams from all over the state come to the studio in Baltimore for the show, and they compete, and like they tape it like a game show. And usually they'll have on like special guests provided by the school, if it's like a marching band or some cheerleaders or like a mascot with a costume or something very typical that high schoolers do for entertainment.
Yeah.
Usually there's like a quick cutaway segment between the rounds and the players and what's going on, and like a little like, oh, okay, this is what the high school has to show off.
Oh, okay. So like aside from like their like other programming, there was like little scenes of like the best of South River, I guess, or like just like academics in Baltimore in general.
Well, no. So like the whole like the show's going. So the show's going, and then when the round's done, we're on the side, and then they just move the camera to us.
Oh, okay.
whatever-
Yeah, that makes
whatever
sense.
the cheerleaders or the whoever that they brought with them in the studio
Okay.
get to do. The cheerleaders might do a little cheer, the marching band might play a little song, or
Something for a cutaway, basically.
mascot.
Okay.
Yeah, a little cutaway, like right before the commercial break and right after the commercial break before the rounds.
I know what you're talking about now.
So, because my piano teacher thought I was very talented, and he had the idea of bringing me on to do the show. And his idea was like, oh yeah, maybe we'll get you and maybe like a couple other guys, and maybe like we'll have like a little jam or something. And the other guys were just kind of like, oh, okay, like they thought it was cool, but they never showed up. They never thought anything of it.
So
But
you
I
were the
was-
only one who played
Yeah, I
that
was-
cutaway thing.
Yeah, so I showed up
Wow.
and plugged in my guitar and had my you know, and then when they cut to me, I just did some crazy guitar solos, and like I had my leather jacket and my glasses and my long hair.
Okay, yeah, so
my
you were
God.
in
And
full,
my Gibson Les Paul,
Oh,
and
dude, like-
so like full
the
rock star
peak.
swagger. Like
See,
no
the
one's
peak.
you
So
no
you
one
have-
can fuck with you at this
so you
point.
have like, you know, like all the Big Bang Theory kids, you know, with their families, and that's everybody there, and then there's fucking me.
Yeah. That gives the show some variety though. That's really cool, man. Holy shit.
Like we came back from commercial break, and he was like, "Oh, we're back with the Danny Cruz show," and I was like laughing my ass off on the side, like, what the fuck?
So that was like your first like television performance, basically.
My first televised performance, yes.
That's so cool,
That's
dude.
awesome.
Like I said, my mom did work for Channel 13. She worked in the booth, like running the commercial tapes and stuff, and her hand was used in like some Ring commercials and some commercials that they have to tape like locally there. Like she had to be in a couple things, and what she told me was that she did like a segment about like talking about breastfeeding or something. It was like she quit shortly after I was born, but it was like right in between that transition period or something. I was on television.
Wow.
Like, I don't know, like 94 ish. I don't know, 93, 94. Whenever she decided to do that, like right before she quit,
Okay.
because she had she had to quit because she had me, but she said that she did that like right before or something. I was
Okay.
like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. Man, it is crazy the little specifics that we learn from other people's lives, man.
So it wasn't the first time I was on television, but it was my first televised performance.
Yeah, dude, that's still a cool story as to
That
what
is-
your
that-
first
yeah.
televised performance
That is
was.
pretty
Yeah.
dope.
That is like on a game show in a local channel. Like that's a pretty interesting success story right there, man. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
I'm
you-
glad that I know that story now, man. Thank you for sharing that. That was
Yeah,
really
He
cool.
brought me on to do it a couple times, and if my TiVo still worked, I probably would have been able to save it.
You don't
but
think they're on YouTube or anything like that?
I don't know, man.
Well, what's the
It's-
show? What
it's
was
a
the show
shot in
called?
the
It's
dark.
Academic, you said?
It's academic. From like,
Okay.
I don't know, 2011.
That's when you performed on it, right?
Yeah.
2011?
Like,
Okay.
October, I think I was there, maybe October 2010, 2011. Maybe that's when we've taped. I don't know, because they put it out, I think, like a month or something after the taping.
Okay.
I
So
forget when they. I think they came out in the fall. Pretty sure.
so basically, it's academic. The channel was Channel 13 W what?
WJZ.
Yeah, it was
WJZ, and it was from 2011, right?
2010, 2011, something like that.
All right, y'all know what to
Or-
do. Look that up on YouTube. Danny Cruz on that stuff.
Or was it
I wanna find
2011,
it.
2012. I don't fucking remember.
I'll look for 2011 and 2012, honestly. And if anyone else finds in the 2011 or the 2012s, let us know because I got to see this video. This
Yeah,
sounds
I
like a
gotta
really,
see this
really
too.
interesting video.
There's a couple of
Do you have black hair in this or blonde hair?
There's a couple of them. One of them has the blonde hair with the silver Les Paul Studio, and the other one
Classic.
is like the little shorter. Like I dyed my hair like a little black because I was a little sick of the blonde.
Okay.
So I had like a little bit more of what my hair is now, with the blue Stratocaster for the second one that I did.
Right on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
Okay.
right. 2011-ish, maybe early 2012. Definitely in 2011 sometime, I think.
Word.
But good luck finding all that, though. You probably have to talk to somebody whose like parents actually like videotaped it or something.
You know what?
because-
Yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to look up Facebook. I'm going to look up Yahoo. I'm going to look up YouTube. I'm going to look up everywhere to try to see this footage because, hey, it's crazy the kind of things you learn on podcast hangs. And I think on that note, this is a good time to sign off and get some sleep and refresh for the 4th episode of Podcast Hangs. That'll be coming out sometime soon. But in the meantime,
This is episode 3.
I know, but the episode 4,
and
I'm just so excited for episode 4, even though we don't know what we're gonna do. I just want to
True.
have it now, but
Okay.
but we have to rest and make sure that we're well furnished and well fresh for that show and that episode. But for now,
I'm gonna sleep for a week.
yeah, exactly. Well, I'm still in school, so we'll see. For now, this is Nick
This is Jesse.
And this is Danny.
signing off. Thank you guys for listening to Podcast Hangs.
Thank you
We
guys
are
for
brought to
tuning
you
into our
by
third
nobody but
episode.
ourselves. And y'all have a great rest of your night. Day.
Y'all can find us on Facebook, Twitter,
Oh, fuck, I
yeah,
forgot that.
Instagram, all of that at Podcast Hangs. Now we're for real signing off. This has been Jesse.
This has been Nick.
This is Danny.
Thank y'all for tuning into the third episode of Podcast Hangs, and we'll see y'all soon.